reduces the harm to the animal, it doesn't feel the pain as much. Okay, no problem. We stun anyway. We don't have a problem with stunning. So what are you talking about? You're talking baloney. I'm sorry, it's just bogus what you're saying. So the kosher slaughter, the Jews are taking offense to this. They're saying that, you know, why do you want to ban kosher slaughter? We as Jews live in this country. We should be able to slaughter our meat however we like. Why do you have a problem with that? And that's a good question, right? Initially, Rupert Lowe was running on banning halal slaughter. And then he changed his position and he said, I'm going to ban halal slaughter. We're also going to ban kosher slaughter, right? We're going to do both. We're going to ban both of them. Now, the reason why he said that was because he was getting a lot of pushback from the Muslim community, but also his own supporters were saying, well, you know, why don't you also ban kosher slaughter? If you're going to ban halal slaughter, ban kosher slaughter, right? And he did concede that. And he started rebranding and saying, we're going to ban kosher slaughter as well, right? He would say it in like replies. At first, he would say, we're going to ban kosher slaughter, so that nobody really saw that. But then he was kind of forced into the position where it was made like a party policy, right? Part of the platform. Now, I don't want to digress too much, but if you actually look at this, you know, they talk about stunning, right? Stunning the animal. In Judaism, stunning the animal is not permissible, right? In kosher slaughter, you can't stun the animal. The animal must be alive, no stunning whatsoever. It can't be drowsy, and that's where you would cut the throat of the animal, right? So that is the kosher way of slaughtering an animal. In Islam, that's not the case, right? An animal can be stunned so long as the animal is still alive, right? It can be slightly unconscious, but as long as the animal is still alive, and then you cut the throat of the animal, that's fine, which is how the Brits and the English slaughter that meat anyway, right? If you actually look at the figures, 88% of halal meat here in the UK is stunned before the slaughter. So when they talk about banning halal meat, right, why did they start with halal meat where we stun anyway? The Jews are the ones that don't stun. So why didn't he, if your problem is stunning, no problem, no problem. Your problem is stunning for the animal, for the welfare of the animal, no problem. So why didn't you start with kosher meat? I've just told you we're allowed to stun in Islam. We're allowed to stun, no problem. I've just told you 88% of the halal meat in this country is stunned before slaughter. The Jews don't do that. That's forbidden in Judaism. You cannot stun the animal. Perfectly permissible in Islam. So why is it, and this is why I don't think Lowe is an anti-Semite, I actually think he's a rabid Zionist. But why is it, my friend, that you are talking about halal slaughter before you even talk about the kosher slaughter? You're forced into the position to ban kosher slaughter. You don't really want to, but you have to do it to look consistent. So why is it that you didn't start with kosher slaughter first? I've just told you 88% of our meat is slaughtered the same way you slaughter your meat. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is very clear. 88% of our meat is stunned. That's not allowed in Judaism. So I hope I've made the point very clear. When they debate halal slaughter, bring this to them. Because this is the problem. They probably don't even know how meat is slaughtered. These are the types of the intelligence we're talking about with these individuals, these far-right individuals, including the party leader. They talk about, oh, you can't, you must stun your meat because it's kinder to the animal, and it suppresses, reduces the harm to the animal. It doesn't feel the pain as much. Okay, no problem. We stun anyway. We don't have a problem with stunning. So what are you talking about? You're talking baloney. I'm sorry, it's just bogus what you're saying, right? So we need to make that point, and you can make that point whenever you are questioned on halal slaughter.